Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Today we have myself, Anil, head of product here, and Sergio, head of our AI operations team.
Hi,
And today
everyone.
we really wanted to share with you uh, what you can actually see from the eyes of real shoppers when it comes to product and use images, when it comes to using AI to generate these images, and how people who are actually shopping for your products actually review these images. So we'll take you through a couple of examples and kind of highlight with different sets of products. Some of these will be uh, apparel, fashion. Some of these will be consumer goods, so you can get a good variety. So let's just get started. So the first product here is I don't want to say super boring product, but an uncommon product, which is what I'd say a generator, right? On the right here, you'll see the typical flat white that this company has on their listing page. And then on the left here, you'll see it actually in use. And by the way, before I start, we do use a third party independent tool that basically has a vetted network of real shoppers, in this case, Amazon Prime subscribers, so real vetted shoppers, to evaluate and give feedback on the images. And we asked them one question as part of this poll, and that is, you're shopping on Amazon, which image would you click on and why? Now, in this poll, it was rare. It was 100% chose option A versus option B. Now, I'll tell you, you might think, well, that's obvious. No, it actually doesn't always happen. We do see in some cases, for example, in the jewelry products, a lot of times a product in use image like this that's very dressed up is actually a distraction when you're shopping for jewelry. But let's continue for this. So let's look at some comments that people said. What you'll see here off the bat is they're like, okay, I get it. This is something I could take on a trip, right? Which is what the brand is trying to convey, right? They want to emulate that this product could be something that you can take. It gives them the relative size and scale, right, in real environment. And it helps the overall appeal of the product. So that's what you're seeing as the comments here. And what you're not seeing, which is this doesn't look real, this looks fake. You're not seeing that, right? And again, these are independent shoppers who did not know whether something is AI generated or not. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The next one is a very simple product. It is, for your room, to be able to, for females, for example, to put on the makeup and all. Now, if you look at option B, the brand told us, hey, I need to convey to the customers how to use this, right? So real product and use challenge. And again, same challenge here around size and scale. And actually, how much can you put in this? So let's see what the results were. Again, same thing, 100% chose this side by side. And let's look at some of the comments. Similar comments. They can understand how much they can use, and the most important thing is they can understand and value the product even more. So what does that mean? Well, if it's listed for a certain price with the flat white image, you're not able to convey the value of the product. Now with this product in use, in this appeal, you're able to now tell your customer what's the actual value. And I think that is very important, and why you need to move to these images. Okay, let's move on. Sergio, I'll hand this one to you.
Yeah. So we're going to look into a couple of examples of apparel products. So here we have something you wear. It's actually a code, but you'll see how the product in use image is super helpful for users to understand the full context of the product. So here we have we're comparing the product in use. We have a woman wearing this coat on the street, and then we're comparing it to a flat white with just the product in the background. Interestingly, yeah, we see that people again prefer the product in use scene. Interestingly, the main reason why people prefer it is because it gives them clarity about how the product is meant to be used. If you were only to look at the flat white, it may not be clear whether it's a coat or a robe. And so basically what the product in use image allows the user to do is see how it's meant to be used. It instantly eliminates that possibility of doubt of how it's meant to be used. And so it's clear to the users instantly that it's a coat and not a bathrobe, which could be a problem if you're just showing the flat white. So that on the one hand. On the other hand, it's just people appreciate that it catches their eye. It's like a better looking image because of the background and how well integrated the product is with the scene overall. So that was a good example. But if you realize in that previous example, we were comparing a product in use image with an image where the product was already on a mannequin or was already shaped as if a human were wearing it, which already helps you realize how it's going to look on you. But here we have an interesting example where we created a product in use example where the original image was just a flatly of the product. So if you move to the next one, yeah. So here we were comparing just the product being like laid flat on a surface versus a product in use image. Again, if we look at the results, and again, this is a third-party provider, and these are like vetted Amazon Prime customers, we see that they much prefer the product in use image. What are some of the reasons behind here? So as you can imagine, it's much easier to think about how it will look like on you if you see it worn by someone else laying flat on a surface. So this is what we see customers tell us. Like, this image lets me see how the jeans will actually fit. The man looks like the jeans are good with. And again, how the jeans will look like on a person. It's more likely to generate clicks. You've seen all these examples. In all these cases, we were comparing an AI generated image versus like a real image. And we know that these are AI generated. If you are generating images with AI yourself, you know that they are AI generated, but users out there don't know it. And so they don't have a bias against it. And when they're just browsing and shopping online, they are not fishing for AI images. They're just looking for products. They're much less likely to notice any potential issues with the images. And what we never see or very rarely see is people commenting that this image doesn't look real. So as you investigate AI images, keep that in mind, because you may see an AI image that you think is fake, but it's always good to put it out there, see what customers who don't know where the image comes from say about it. And many times you'll be surprised because they will not be complaining about realism.
So basically, the main takeaways are if you have sufficient realism in your product photos, it will work. It will translate to ROI. We are seeing this through the data. This is not anything other than backed by data, number one. Number two, it doesn't need to be overly complex. You can literally take a flat white and just put it into the right environment. And right away, you're going to up level the value of the product in the customer's eyes. You're going to up level the overall environment and how it could be used. And you're going to make sure that they understand the size and scale. And what do all three of these things do? Not only do they help with your conversion, but they're also going to reduce your return and churn rates, because customers are going to know what they're going to buy and understand what they're buying before they buy it. Of course, you'll also see confusion of product purpose. So the robe example that we saw, it's actually not a robe, it's a coat. It's meant for the winter. And it's almost imperative that you put that product in that scene. So lastly, I'll say this, like, sufficient realism is also very, very important. You cannot put up a digitally altered or an image that looks digitally altered. That will also throw off customers, and probably will bring in a future workshop more examples of how digitally altered can actually actually make this go the wrong way, right? So what we've shown you today are the Snappr AI system generated with our collaborative AI model and the results backed by data from real shoppers of how they see the images and ultimately how these brands are seeing the ROI. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.